Okay, so I'm just going to do a couple of reviews for the tests next week. I just want to make sure that you remember the cellular respiration, okay? And you have to remember that there's two types of cellular respiration. There's aerobic and anaerobic. And aerobic uses oxygen. So we start with glucose and oxygen. And we make ATP for the cell, which is our energy. And then we also make our waste products, which are carbon dioxide and water. And this is aerobic. And this is the pathway that normally functions because we can breathe and take in oxygen. Now, some organisms cannot take in oxygen, or oxygen is not available, or sometimes we actually need more ATP than can be provided with the oxygen that we bring in. So long distance runners and things like that, or people who exert themselves. And in that case, they undergo anaerobic respiration. And that's also known as fermentation. And I'm sure you guys have heard of fermentation. We ferment certain things, and we end up with beer and wine. So this is also called fermentation. And what you have to remember about this process is that in animals and bacteria, we end up with lactic acid, and that's what makes our muscles sore when we work out too hard or run long distances. That's because your body goes to the anaerobic respiration pathway just to get a few more ATP. And aerobic respiration is 36 to 38 ATP, and anaerobic doesn't make much more, but it's still enough. So about 2 to 3 for this. And then in plants, or actually in yeast cells, which is the one that we really want to remember, because this is what is most familiar to us, the process of fermentation in yeast, and you end up with ethyl alcohol, which is what makes everybody happy after they drink beer. Okay, so ethyl alcohol is a product of fermentation in yeast cells. So animals and bacteria, they produce lactic acid when they undergo anaerobic respiration or fermentation, and yeast cells produce alcohol.